It's a startling book. It's one of those books which I wrote, and then I sat back and I thought to myself, wow, what did you just write here? Because it's totally not what I expected. And it comes down to the fact that NATO, by which I include the US of A, never, let me repeat that word, never had air superiority in Western Europe or say Eastern Europe, where NATO is supposed to be and nowhere else. After all, it is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It's not the one in the Persian Gulf or the one in, Southeast Asia or wherever. No. It was created against a Soviet threat. And in fact, it was actually created before the Warsaw Pact came into being. Not a lot of people know that. But anyway, this book, Blue Tang, it clearly confirmed that NATO never had air superiority in that theater or any other theater. No, that's a wild statement. Man, that is like, I suppose, doing things in church which you shouldn't be doing. That's almost like, well, it's mind-boggling actually, because I grew up believing in the air superiority of NATO. I grew up knowing that NATO has perhaps smaller air forces, but very, very good ones, and good aircraft and good missiles. And it's a huge damn problem. I mean, most of you listening here would know this because you're military men. And you'll understand, if you don't have air superiority, man, you're screwed. You can still operate. We did in Angola, we operated, I would say, the last 3 years of the war without air superiority, perhaps the last 4 years. Our aircraft were just outclassed by the latest MiG-23s, which arrived there from the Soviet Union, piloted by Cubans as well as, I suppose, Angolan or two, probably Russians as well. There's strong rumors about it. Definitely, they were not always speaking in Spanish to each other.